You're listening to the E2C Network, podcast by Auburn fans for Auburn fans.
War Eagle Auburn fans, and welcome to Tiger Trax, your source for Auburn, track and field, and cross-country news and discussion. I'm your host, Jessica Loomis, and I'm here with my amazing husband and wonderful co-host, Kyle, to discuss the LSU Alumni Gold Invite.
There you go, adding superlatives again. What do you want?
Because last time you said I didn't add them and that you must have done something wrong. So
no, you must want something.
I want a new dog.
A new dog? Did we have a dog already? Because to have a new one means you'd have to have one already.
No, I just meant I don't want an old one. I want a young dog.
Oh, wow. Okay. That sounds like a little mean and
like ageist.
Ageist towards dogs.
Ageist against dogs.
Wow. Okay. Well, anyway, well.
Yeah, I'd like a dog.
I just get concerned when you start throwing out compliments to
I
me.
do think you're amazing. I don't know what other word I used, but I think you're that too.
I can't even remember either. That's how.
Wonderful.
I couldn't
handsome.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Nice.
Enough of that. All right. This is the LSU Alumni Gold Invite. Why is it not the Alumni Purple Invite?
Well, because gold, you run for the gold, you get the gold. Auburn got the gold.
They did get the gold a couple of times. But I just it's funny that they choose, because we don't have the orange invite, the blue invite.
Well, listen, Auburn is a little more creative than LSU. We've known this based on what our Tigers look like.
I mean, they did copy us.
Exactly. And their Tiger looks like it does meth.
No, that would be Clemson that you're thinking of.
No, LSU's Tiger looks pretty janky too. That yellow color and what's his name, Mike?
Mike the Tiger, yeah.
Yeah. Mike's
now you're talking about
too.
the mascot, not the actual tiger they have.
Correct. I'm not talking about the live animal. I'm talking about the fluffy mascot that a human gets in the costume of.
Can I bring something up here?
Of course you will.
How funny would it be to have a tiger chase people around the track? It'd make you run real fast, though, wouldn't it?
I mean, that's true, but you would also die, because what is the top land speed of a tiger versus the top land speed of a human?
Hey, we'd find out real quick.
Well, I'm thinking the human's gonna die.
Probably.
But I would watch Mike the tiger, the mascot, chase after some people.
Now, if they did as the opening ceremonies, had a little track for him to run in with just himself, and just say, start your engine, start your shoes, and then he runs.
I would watch, don't they do the mascot Olympics or something? I would so freaking watch mascots chase after each other around a track. Mascots throw javelin. Mascots try to jump. Oh man, this would be the best.
But see, we can't put Obby in that position because have you seen his feet?
Oh,
I mean, we
for
love,
sure. Have you seen Al the elephant? Could you imagine giant Al running down a track? No.
So let me give a shout out to one of my favorite shows of all time, Rick and Bubba.
Oh, great. Here
but
we
go. They were timing the 40 of celebrities and stuff and themselves for a long time at their studio. They had the mascots come in. They had Obby and Big Al came in. Guess who won?
Well, duh, Obby.
Big Al won.
What kind of story is this,
If you look up the way his feet is set up compared to Obby's, you can tell why he gets a little bit more speed, which is sad.
That's terrible. Why would you tell us that story?
I don't know. Just one of the tangents that we always want to throw here at the beginning of Tiger Trax.
You do love tangents.
All right, enough about tangents. Track and field.
Okay, so we have a lot of highlights to go through. It was a smaller meet. It was only one day. It was only April 24th, and obviously it was on LSU's campus, which is in some city. Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge?
Yes.
Don't know what it means, but Baton Rouge is fun to say. It's not a fun place to visit.
There you go. So, like I said, smaller meet, not as many competitors for Auburn, but the ones that did compete did really well. So, just some highlights. We had Kylie Carter, Kyle's favorite competitor right now. She won the women's javelin.
Of all time.
Okay, of all time. She won the women's javelin and broke her 2-year school record. Her throw, which was 60.69 meters or 199 feet 1 inch, it was better by almost 10 feet than her previous school record.
Just another Saturday for Kylie.
I mean, seriously. This was also a stadium record and the second longest throw in the country this season.
So not only does she own the top throw in the country, but she owns
that stadium.
Tiger Stadium. Well, I guess they don't run in Tiger Stadium, whatever the field is called there.
Mike's Field.
Mike's Field. It's probably something unoriginal, like the blue and gold track or something
It's
like that.
probably something like Hutzel Rosen track, like somebody's name, like ours.
But see, do you know our actual track is named for some track greats, like Hutzel and Rosen or...
Correct.
Just making sure you know.
Durr.
Okay, just making sure.
That's it would kind of be like Pat Dye Field being named after Jessica Loomis.
But
that would
sometimes
be so
they
stupid.
name things after donors and stuff like
Sometimes they do, but 99% of the time it has something to do with the sport.
Fair point.
Okay. So next we have Presley Weems. She won the women's 800 meter and got a new school record. She previously had the school record. She broke that again. Her new school record is 2 minutes, 3.9 seconds. She also has the top 3 school records for the 800 meters. She's killing it.
Presley has turned it up a notch since cross country.
Literally.
And has literally just cranked it up here in outdoor season.
Can you imagine to see this girl go sub 2 in the 800? Because I can't. I've never seen it. Obviously Auburn has never seen it since now she holds the 800 meter record. But she is so close to going sub 2. I think we'll see it. Maybe not this year, but possibly next year.
I was over here what does she mean by sub 2? And then I realized sub 2 minutes. But you're using this lingo and slang that us.
This is sub 2.
This is why I'm here. Is for the layman track and field fan to just
lame
because that's hurtful, but it's truthful.
Man.
All right, Niles Fisher broke the javelin school record for the men with a throw of 74.3 meters. So not only were we dominant in the ladies' side of throwing the javelins, but
we just kill it on all levels.
So way to go, Niles. Eric Brown also won the men's 800 meter, which was a nice surprise there. Silas Kipnijik won the 3,000 meter steeplechase. I can't think of a word describe this type of event, but confusing and fascinating,
ridiculous,
yet fascinating event. Adam Strauff got a PR and a silver medal in the men's shot put.
Then Mara Hewalt placed second and got a PR in women's discus, and Frances Patrick placed second and also got a PR in the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase.
Now I know that these are the highlights, but as I was reading through some of the results earlier, before we got ready to record this, I did notice that you even left off a few of some, silvers and bronzes still that have yet to come. So you've got a little bit more to look forward to, folks.
That's exactly right. So, Kyle, since you want to start off with the men...
Why do I want to start off with the men? I'm not a sexist.
Well, you are a man. I don't mean that you want to.
I put you in a hole there, and you tuck your way back out of it, kind of.
I should have said, do you want?
Do you want to? Yes, I would love to start off with the men events. Men's 100 meter dash. We've got 3 competitors. Dante Brown, 3rd overall out of 21 competitors. That's really small compared to what we've seen.
It is.
We had 42 last time.
When I say this was a smaller meet, I genuinely meant it.
So can we just say basically the 100 meter dash is probably an indicator of how big the meet is usually?
Yes, the 100 and 200.
So if you got only 21 compared to double that last time, you can get a perspective of how many people were competing here. Doesn't mean it wasn't a quality meet. It just means that just less competition. Quantity-wise. So 3rd overall for him, he got a run time of 10.27 seconds. Jason Reese was 17 out of 21, 10.75 seconds. And then Brandon Smiley was just behind him at 18th with 10.79 seconds.
Now, this was not the best for any of our athletes. It was actually significantly a little bit slower for most of them. I noticed that too. So I'm wondering if wind was a factor.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because when I read through this previously, I was like, you're also going to see it here in a second in the next event where there's some drops in some of these speed events. And I'm wondering why.
I'm thinking wind had to be a factor, especially for Dante Brown. He was pretty consistent, 10.11, 10.15. And then Jason Reese was in the 10.6s. I mean, literally, Jason Reese was 10.65 for 3 meets. So I'm thinking wind had to be a factor here.
So, again,
or maybe the clock was off.
For the layman track and field fan here, why couldn't they turn the opposite way? Isn't the track set up where you could run the opposite way?
It is not.
So
there are no lanes like that.
Why? It seems like you would account for that. Whether...
Listen, I am not Senorita Track.
Senorita Track? What?
I don't know, but the track is only set up to go one way.
I don't know. It just feels like you could turn around and go the opposite way.
You can't! There's no lines. There's no lines for your blocks. There's no lines for your hands. You can't.
Seems like you could just move.
You can't!
All right. Well, I mean, obviously that's the most logical thing that I've heard for why that could happen, but I did pick up on that as well. All right, the men's 200 meter dash, 2 competitors, 22 overall competitors, so 1 more than the 100 meter dash. Brandon Smiley got 8th out of 22, 20.98 seconds. And then Jason Reese, 21 out of 22 competitors. His time was 21.77 seconds.
All right, moving on to the men's 800 meter, only 1 competitor, Eric Brown, placing first, getting that gold out of 12 competitors with a time of 1 minute 49.1 seconds, his fastest this season. Then, which I believe is also a PR for him. In the men's 1500 meter, we had Evan Rogers placing 5th out of 7 competitors with a time of 3 minutes, 56.3 seconds.
So it seems like as the distance increased in these runs, maybe the wind was, if it was wind, was the cause of the speed times being down, was less of a factor, maybe.
Well, obviously, wind's not going to be a factor when you're
turning and going different direction
Correct.
around the track and stuff like that.
Correct. But also, the faster you go, the more wind factors in.
And we did have storms this weekend, didn't we?
Well, yes, we did.
Look at that.
Dear.
We just did a little deductive reasoning,
Oh
Sherlock.
my gosh. Next. Don't call me Sherlock.
Sherlock. Don't call me Shirley Sherlock. All right, got the men's 110-meter hurdles. We got Oquindo Bernard, 9th out of 13, 14.39 seconds for him, which was a nice little increase for, actually right in the middle of where he was normally. Alex Spyridonidis was 11th out of 13, 14.99 seconds for him. And then David Edmondson got 13th out of 13, 15.52 seconds on his run.
Hey Auburn family, we're going to take a quick breather from this episode to bring you an important message. One of the most well-known things about Auburn fans is how loyal they are, and we show that loyalty by the colors that we wear. Let us help you stock up on those colors by going over to our tpublic.com store. There you'll find a variety of merchandise geared towards designs based on E2C Network and Auburn content. While TeePublic is known for their t-shirts, they have a wide selection of merchandise options for you to select one of these designs to be put on. They also have other types of apparel, stickers, mugs, and much more. Here's the beauty of it. Your purchase will help support this network and the content that we regularly produce. The purchase will also go to support independent artists who put a lot of hard work into designing these concepts, especially for you, the Auburn family. And did I mention that they regularly have sales? T-shirts for $13? You have to be kidding me. If you're ready to explore your purchase options, head on over to tpublic.com/store/E2C Network. You can also get there by going to our website at e2cnetwork.com/support. Now that you've got some options to suit up for game day, let's head back into this episode.
The 3,000-meter steeplechase, which we already discussed, Silas Kipniczyk won the whole dang thing, but only 4 competitors total in this. There was only the 4 brave souls that wanted to do that. 9 minutes, 8.1 seconds.
Now, to be fair, I think 7 competitors actually started the race, but only 4 finished.
Why didn't they finish? Did they hurt themselves? Or
Oh, I don't know. I wasn't there, honey.
Is this one of those events where you just get knocked out easily?
Yeah, you've seen steeplechase, right?
Yeah, but I guess...
You could face plant into a pile of water.
But you don't just get up and keep running?
Not if they're injured.
Okay, that's a lot of people getting injured there.
Well, I don't know.
That's almost half the field.
Men's 400-meter hurdles, we've got Malik Medavir placing 4th out of 18 in 50.35 seconds, his best of this season. And Caden Seal placing 16th with a time of 53.83 seconds. Then we've got some field events moving off the track onto the field. We've got men's high jump. We've got Dontavius Hill placing 2nd out of 6th with a jump of 2.11 meters, and TJ Funchess placing 6th out of 6 with a jump of 1.96 meters.
Both their lowest of the seasons here.
Yeah.
Which was not
terribly lower
for
Dontavius,
obviously.
though. Or
TJ as well.
Yeah.
All right, the pole vault, James Corson got 2nd out of 10 competitors here. He had a jump of 5.16 meters. It is not his best, but it's still enough to get him 2nd place. So just imagine.
It's also still a vault.
It's a jump. It's a vault. We're not going to start that again. But think if he had even done just a little bit better, because his best is 5.35 on the year, he might have gotten 1st in this one.
Mm-hmm.
The long jump, David Edmondson, 6 out of 9 competitors, 7.05 meters, followed by John Murray, who got 9th out of 9, 6.7 meters for him.
Moving on to some throwing events, we've got the men's shot put with Adam Strauff placing 2nd out of 6 competitors in 18.57 meters. Then the men's hammer throw, Eric Ebel placing 6th out of 9 competitors with a throw of 63.42 meters, which is his best this season. Kyle Moisen placing 7th in 59.44 meters.
Now, I did notice that, Adam had his best of the season as well, if I'm looking at this correctly across the board. Yes. So this was his best in the shot put, and then a good one in the hammer there. So if there was wind a factor for the runners, it obviously may not have been too big of a factor. I know when you're throwing a giant weight through the air, the wind doesn't do as much for that.
Correct.
As opposed to maybe like a javelin or something like that.
Yeah, javelin it could really affect.
But, we'll just assume maybe that didn't have as much of a factor in that. The men's javelin throw, which we've already talked about a little bit. Niles Fishner, he got 1st out of 9, 74.3 meter throw for him. Josh Wallace, 5th out of 9, 60.2 meter throw. And then Eric Ebel got 8th out of 9, 57.75 meter throw. Also on the men's discus, which finishes out all the men events for us, Kyle Moisen, 4th out of 9 competitors, 51.56 meters, which was his best throw of the season there.
By a lot.
That's a big increase for him.
Yep, that's awesome. So moving on to the women. So we had the women's 100-meter dash. We had Nia Benton-Andrews placing 16th out of 27 competitors with a time of 11.64. This is actually her first time competing in this event this season.
I feel like she has, though, before.
I thought so, too, but I guess it's just in the 4x1.
That's probably the only other place that we've seen her.
Yep. So next we have Destiny Charles placing 23rd in 11.84 seconds. Then Destiny Charles also competed in the 200-meter dash, placing 17th out of 24 athletes with a time of 24.42 seconds.
So Destiny in the 100 meters, she got like right in the middle. So obviously the wind may not have been super big of a factor there for her in the 100-meter dash like it was for the men.
Maybe.
So a question.
You mean the middle of what she's run this season? So I'm trying to remember from the meets that I've been to recently, because I wasn't allowed to be in the one a couple weeks ago in Auburn. Do the men and the women run the event at not the exact same time, but back to back? Like they'll do a man and then the woman? Typically not.
So they'll like finish them out and then bring the women in and do them?
No. Typically not.
Okay.
I would have to look. Yeah, it completely varies.
Is there like an event, like a track meet coordinator that plans out when all this stuff happens? God, I bet that's confusing.
Yes.
Sorry. That just gives me a headache trying to think about all that. Next, we've got the women's 800 meter. We've got Presley Weems, who we've already talked about, won the whole dang thing with 13 competitors in this. Her time of 2 minutes, 3.9 seconds, which was a great increase for her. Jennifer Dietrich, 12th out of 13, 2 minutes, 17.5 seconds for her in the 800 meter. Now the women's 1500 meter, Samantha Rogers, one of the Rogers crew we always love to talk about. 11th out of 13, 4 minutes, 51.4 seconds was her time on this run.
Moving on to the women's 3,000 meter steeplechase, only 3 athletes actually finished this. I think it was the same situation, probably about 7 started it, but Frances got second. So she ran it in 10 minutes, 55.9 seconds, which is almost a full 10 seconds faster than she ran it last week, which is awesome. For the women's 400 meter hurdles, we had Tyler Colbert placing 7th out of 15 athletes with her season best of 58.64 seconds.
I'm still stuck on the fact that the steeplechase took so many people out. Like, why do we even have this event if it's like making people drop like flies?
Have you met football?
Does it disqualify you like if you fall down all the way or something like that?
I'm sure there's a disqualification.
I would tend to think, I'm hoping that it wasn't injury related.
Well, me too. But I know Joyce Melly is still recovering from her injuries from steeplechase last week.
Yeah, and I did see something about that on social media today that said she got back to training today. So obviously it's a very brutal event.
Yes.
All right, the women's high jump. We got 3 competitors to talk about. We got a bronze out of Kamaya Dindi, who got 3rd out of 9, 1.76 meters for her. Natasha Jordan, 6th out of 9, 1.71 meters for her. And Satori Thompson, 7th out of 9, 1.66 meters for her. The women's pole vault, Lexi Lionweber, 5th out of 7, a 3.81 meter jump for her, or vault, as Jessica loves to say. So looking at her stats, that's it's almost her best one of the year.
Yep.
Almost, just by like 0.01 meter.
Moving on to women's long jump, we had Imani Jones placing 11th out of 13 athletes in 5.7 meters. And then for triple jump, we had Janiyah Jones placing 11th out of 11 competitors with a jump of 11.56 meters. So both of those ladies placed right in the middle of where they've been jumping this whole season.
Mm-hmm. Now we've got the throwing events. You know I love to throw things. So
yes, you do.
don't know what I like to throw, but I just like throwing it. The shot put for the ladies, Jocelyn Budwig got 6th out of 12 competitors with a throw of 15.83 meter throw. Mara Hewalt, 7th out of 12, 15.75 meter throw for her. And then Tori McKinley, 10th out of 12 with a 14.16 meter throw. The women's discus, Mara Hewalt, 2nd out of 9, 52.3 meter throw for her, which is her far best of the year. Jocelyn Budwig, 4th out of 9, 50.45 meter throw for her, which looks to be right about
in the middle.
The middle for her, yeah. She's done a 51.19 before.
Yep. Moving on to women's hammer throw, we had Maddie Malone placing 3rd out of 9 with a throw of 64.13 meters. Then Jocelyn Budwig placing 6th with a throw of 56.21 meters. And finally, Danielle Gregory in 7th place with a throw of 50.42 meters.
Have you been a little, not underwhelmed, not the right word, but surprised that Maddie's not been as dominant this year as she was last year?
Well, you must mean 2 years ago, because last year this didn't exist.
Listen, I've basically erased all of last year.
Okay, so. That's fair. 2020 in the trash.
Yes.
I hadn't even thought about it, so you're putting new thoughts in my head. So, okay, I'm going to let you do women's javelin since it is your favorite.
It's my girl. Well, we've already talked about her. Kylie Carter, 1st out of 10 competitors with her throw of 60.69 meters.
I mean, absolutely killed it. Let's just look back. The best previously that she did this season was 57.38 meters. Killed it.
And then Kiera McCarroll, 5th out of 10, 47.77 meter throw for her, which is right in the middle of where she did. So no Ashley Carter this time, who dominated it at home previously at the War Eagle Invitational. And then finally, we got Alex Webb, 7th out of 10, 44.67 meter javelin throw for her. It is right in the middle of what she's done as well.
That's true. So smaller meet in terms of how many Auburn athletes we had competing, but overall, really good results for Auburn. So Auburn returns at the Tennessee Challenge in Knoxville, Tennessee, May 1st.
And we did the Tennessee relays in that split meet weekend already.
That's
so
true.
Heading back up to Knoxville to do a few things up there.
The Tennessee Challenge. What kind of name is that?
I do feel like we've spent a lot more time at different locations this year.
Yes, which is nice because normally, indoor? We're in South Carolina and Florida.
And that's about it.
Yes.
But also in outdoor too, I felt like we stayed in like Arkansas or we went to Florida, and that was about. And now we've been to Louisiana, we've been to Florida a couple of times. We're going back to Tennessee. And we've obviously been home a lot, so we're seeing a lot of new places now.
That's true. So that's all we have for this edition of Tiger Trax. War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Before you get out of here, we want to remind you of a couple of things. Head over to e2cnetwork.com, our website where you can find everything that you'll ever need from us, podcasts, blogs, and even ways to help support the show. If you want to find individual episodes, you can download all of these on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So until we see you again, I want to remind you of one thing, that here at the network, we believe in Auburn and love it. The only question remains, do you?